A man full of heart, a man full of passion, rising from the Jamaican foster care system, defying the odds to become a dental surgeon and using his voice to advocate for youth. A man hailing from the parish of Portland, Jamaica. Today with us, it is Dr. Kemar Henry, a graduate from the joint colleges here at UTech. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me, you were born in Portland, Jamaica, right? Tell me a little about your childhood.
All right, so my childhood growing up in Port Antonio was a bit more difficult than usual. As you know, I was fostered from a very young age. So my mother had me when she was 14,
Right.
and I was also born premature. So growing up in Port Antonio was a
Right.
bit difficult, and one of the first challenges was literally just surviving.
Right.
Since I was born premature, I had to be in an incubator.
Wow.
Right, so I was in an incubator for around 3-4 months before my foster mother came and she got me from the hospital, but I was sickly. So I had to be back and forth from Port Antonio to Kingston, going to different specialists, right? Because of how I was like literally born, and all my organs, they weren't literally developed as they should have been.
Right.
Right. So once I was fully developed, I had some problems.
Right. You said that you were a foster, you're in state care,
Yes.
right? How did that shape your childhood?
Well, that shaping my childhood was tremendous because I had a bit of challenges. And the
Mhm.
other children that I would have actually seen by school,
Right.
they would be different. They have their structured family and everything organized. So me, I would have known I was different from a very young age.
Right. Was there anything that was particularly difficult about your childhood?
Yes, actually learning that I was fostered and the circumstances of my birth, they weren't normal. They weren't like literally like what other children would actually experience.
Right.
So that was difficult coming to terms with who I was from that age and coming to terms and coping with it as I grew up.
Now, can you tell me, were there any mentors or persons who would have helped you to navigate that kind of feeling in your childhood?
Yes, some of those persons, well, firstly, of course, my foster mother, my sibling, Philpotts, etc., they would help me, right? As first, and then secondly, I used to go to church, right?
Right.
I still go to church, Port Antonio Baptist Church.
Right.
Understand? So when I would go to church, I'd get to meet a lot of different persons. That was one of the first places I saw Miss Angela Miller, right? And Miss Terry Thompson as well too. So those are two persons who were very influential in my life when I was growing up. Miss Angela Miller helped me to actually become who I am currently today because I got inspiration from her to become a dentist.
Wow.
And in the difficult circumstances that I would deal with, I rock back on certain things that Auntie Terry would actually say to me.
Right.
I used to be a part of the boys' ministry. We used to sing on the choir, etc. And me and my friends, right? We had a bit of challenges back then to
Right.
the point where, putting a long story short, I wanted to stop the boys' ministry, right?
Right.
So her advice at that time, or what she said to me, what I actually rallied back on, was the point where she said, "A man's true character is shown when his back is against the wall."
Right.
And that's what I try and live by, per se.
Right. Now, in our conversations before we started the interview, you told me that you were involved in a lot of fights.
Mhm.
What sparked that?
All right. So when I was at primary school and the first part of high school, I used to get in many different fights. Just scuffle between children per se.
Right.
Right. A lot of different things. I never really knew how to actually deal with problems per se, or
Right.
at least get into something probably verbally and then just move on. I wouldn't allow it to. It wouldn't just
You
go
would
like
become
that.
violent after a while.
In a sense, yeah. And
Right.
as children would grow up, we never really, per se, wouldn't really just allow it. We wouldn't just talk and just leave it there.
Right.
These games with us at times, because I never really knew how to actually deal with certain challenges. That was the point where I realized that I needed some sort of counseling, or
Right.
at least more counseling than I was already getting. And that was actually one more reason why I actually continued counseling while I was also going to UTech.
Oh,
That
okay.
also helped me to actually become who I am today as well. too.
So you say you went from primary school to the Great Titchfield High School,
Yes.
and then you came here to the University of Technology, Jamaica. How did you feel coming to UTech?
I felt good coming to UTech. The first program I did was dental hygiene.
Right.
So from a very young age, there was a dental nurse who actually helped influence my path,
Right.
Miss Angela Miller. So it was because of her why I actually chose dentistry. I saw her how she was and how she conducted herself at church, work, everywhere, right? My grandmother was away for a couple months. She was abroad. So I actually stayed with Miss Angela Miller for a little time, and I got to see how she was and how she conducted herself.
Right.
That's why I chose dentistry.
Right.
And then going into that now, once I actually decided to really go into dentistry was after I finished dental hygiene. I
Right.
did dental hygiene just as a tester to see if I really wanted to do this for the rest of my life.
Okay. Okay. Well, I want to ask you one question. Why UTech?
Well, UTech was my first local choice. My first choice overall was a foreign university. I did SATs, so my scores allowed me to actually get a scholarship.
Okay.
Right, I got a scholarship to go abroad. That was the Lincoln University, but I never really got a full scholarship, right? So I needed boarding. So with the boarding note that I needed, I got to actually go out and I tried to ask every different organization I could actually find. Newspapers, banks, etc. Till I eventually went to the Child Development Agency.
Right.
And they saw the potential that I had and they decided to actually give me a sponsorship. And the sponsorship that they were saying to me, it came in like the week when I started UTech, because I actually applied to UTech, UA, etc. Got accepted for all of them.
Right.
I started UTech. And since I started UTech, I never really wanted to bother to go abroad. I wanted to stick closer to family as well.
Okay. So you've described your childhood and youthful years as a mixture of hardship and hope. Tell me now, what was it like coming into the halls of UTech?
It was good. It was a different experience, and AQuest actually helped prepare me for that.
Right.
So with AQuest, I got to do that while I was in sixth form, and that's how I actually got different high grades in SATs. And Mr. Dennis Minot, who I met at that time, he was one person who actually really and truly, beside from my foster mother, etc., they would always believe in me. But Mr. Dennis Minot was one of the other outside persons who would see my potential from that point to the point where it, like, literally nothing I'm doing now, he could literally go back and sit to him and he would surprise me from day one.
Right.
So actually coming into the house of UTech, they were easier for me because we got the hands-on experience within AQuest from that time. So we knew what to expect anywhere that we went.
Okay, good. Now, could you tell me, were there any highlights to your tenure at UTech or any difficulties that you had while being here?
Yes. So one of my first good highlights, I got to go and work and travel program. That was a very different experience for me. I went to Wakan, Minnesota. That was a different experience. I loved it up there. I got to see exactly how students would interact with each other outside of a school setting, and I got to see that I could actually accomplish whatever I decided to do. Because the jobs I got to do up there, I did weed whacking, painting. I first washed vehicles up there. A lot of different odd jobs per se, cooking kitchens, etc. So yeah, that was one highlight. But a negative highlight was the fact that I had to now go and get different patients. Right, while I was going to dental school, I have to source our own patients. Never wanted to depend on the book itself in the lobby to look for patients. So I got to actually go out and seek different patients, my own patients, right? But there's usually a shortage of patients, or you don't want to really have any scuffle with anybody over a patient or something written in the book. So I had to go out and seek my own patients. But because of some of those hardships that I had to experience, it actually helped to push me as well to do better.
That's very good. That's very, very good. And I just want to congratulate you on completing. You said you graduated last year, right? So you have just completed the Doctor of Medical Dentistry. You did 2 courses at UTech, yes?
Yes, I did.
What were those 2?
So I did dental hygiene and DMD, Doctor of Medical Dentistry.
Okay, well, and so overall, we have been accumulated 7 years?
Roughly, but because of COVID, we had 1 year that we had to do as well, this plus the 5 years, 5 plus 1 made 6. And I went and work and travel, so there's a module I missed out. Now with dental school, once you miss out one module, you have to do it another year. You can't find time to put that in.
Right. So. Okay. Now tell me, in these 6-7 years, who was the girlfriend? What was the support system like?
So the support system, I always put God first. That's one of my core values. So that's where one of my inspirations came from. Right, one of the biggest inspiration. So that was one, and then two. One of the friends that I mentioned earlier about, Trevor Naismith, he was at UTech as well. So we could actually share a house, right? He would
Right.
be in his room, right? He had his roommate. I had my roommate as well. One of my roommates, well, my roommate, that was Miss Sabrina Johnson. Well, you can call her a roommate person, but she was inside the same house. She had her room, I had my room.
Right.
Right. So she was there, always there, second year, all the way up. Right. We had some very interesting times. We used to have this freezer. We used to pack it up with meat, and every time we come home from school, we cook something, pig steel, ox steel, chicken butt, everything.
Right.
That was very excellent.
Okay, you're living it up, man. You're
Yeah.
living it up. Now, you have completed your time at UTech,
Yes.
but you're not only a professional, you are also using the time to advocate for those in state care.
Yes.
Tell me about your advocacy work.
Well, with my advocacy, I would talk to the Child Development Agency and see if they could reach out to different homes or organizations that need help. I'm looking to also donate different items to the Child Development Agency. This isn't something that I've told them as yet already. It's something that
it's in the pipeline.
Yes.
Okay.
But also with what I want to do, since I have my own office and everything set up, I would want to go to different homes, right, sponsored by them, so that I could actually give children in state care or children who are less fortunate in that position a chance at getting dental care. Because you know that dental care is very expensive for those who are out there working or they have stable families. Imagine those in state care.
Right.
That's one area I want to target. I don't see anybody else doing it. That's something that I want to do. I'm paid for it and give back that way.
Right. That's very, very good, and I love that you are minded to give back to your community. Now, tell me, are you looking at doing any mentorship programs?
Yes, I would love to do mentorship. It's something that I'm looking into, and I'm actually started doing something like that in one of my online jobs, or at least freelancing.
Right.
I teach children, foreign children, English. That's one thing that I do. Right, and I also show persons how to properly edit as well. Got freelancing. I do video editing on the side.
Okay.
Yes, I teach persons.
Right. That's very, very good, and I think your other fellow state wards could take something from you. But I want to ask you, what's one legacy that you'd want to leave for those children in state care?
I want to show them that it is possible, despite the challenges that they may face, because everybody's challenges are different, and each and every circumstance it requires a different approach. The first thing that I would do is make them know my core values. My core values would be putting God first.
Right.
It was always instilled within me from I was younger. So I put that core value first. And while I did that, that helped launch me forward to do the right thing. And I can actually leave that with them and show them that once they put that first, they can accomplish anything. I never really had it. I never saw my way out. I never saw anything. But I always prayed. I trusted God. And everything worked out according to His plan, His time.
Wow, thank you so much. But my biggest question, how has UTech impacted you?
Well, UTech has impacted me tremendously. I got to experience a lot of different challenges that I did not have before, and those challenges helped me to actually show others how I overcome them. I can show others how to do it, because a lot of different people, they don't know how to actually deal with challenges. And with what I went through, the challenges were numerous, but I came up with my own unique solutions to tackle them, and I've inspired a lot of different persons because of what they saw me go through and what I actually come on platforms like this to actually express. Persons wouldn't know, but when they see me in the media, different media platforms, they're inspired and inspired to continue.
Right. I am so proud of you, so proud of you. You are definitely the kind of spotlight we want in UTech, the kind of beacon we want in UTech. And so I want to thank you for joining us here today, Dr. Henry. Right? And that was Night Spotlight. I'm your host, Nicholas Henry. Thanks for joining.